Thinking of moving while you're in retirement? There's 3 ways that you can buy a house in retirement and structure it financially. I've got those 3 ways, plus pros and cons, that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Right now, the housing market is just tricky. Unaffordable, yep. Interest rates high, yep. Scrutiny over lending and and borrowing and all that, yep. You've got all of that. The housing market prices should be coming down, yet things are still going very quickly and for high prices. Gosh, it's just a confusing time. Now imagine you're in retirement and you're trying to navigate that. I think that it makes things even more complicated in the housing market. Right now, I've got 2 retirees, recent retirees, that are in the process of buying new homes. And in each of them, they took a different course. And in each of them, there's a little bit of, I wish you'd have been more aware of this up front. And so breaking it down, in retirement, there's 3 ways, there's 3 approaches to buying a new house. Let's talk through what those are, the pros and cons, so that you can plan ahead appropriately for whatever path is right for you. Now, the first is the easy one. It's the most stress-free one, but it's the one you're not going to do. It's the one almost no retiree is willing to do, and I'll tell you why. It'll be self-evident in just a moment. But this approach to buying a house or moving in retirement is you sell your house first, and then you use those proceeds to buy the new house. And you're thinking, okay, yeah, no. Because in retirement, especially in retirement, you don't want to move twice. You don't want to sell your house, put everything in storage, live in a rental for a month or 2, and then buy the new house. Most people don't want to do that. Now, financially, it's the most stress-free. Why? Because you've sold your house first. You know exactly what you've received in proceeds, minus realtor fees, all that sort of stuff. And then that's your budget to go out and buy the next thing. Okay? You don't need financing. You don't need to figure out where you're going to get the down payment from. Even if you do need financing because the new house is going to be higher, you've got a lot of resources at your disposal ahead of time, and you can make that earnest money, that down payment, all those sorts of things with the proceeds that you have. So it's financially, it is stress-free. But in retirement, at this stage of life, and certainly other stages of life as well, the tension is, no, I'm moving because I'm looking for a house with certain features. And as soon as, those are more rare. One of the clients that I'm serving right now, they live in a very highly populated area, and there was a house that came in the market that had a backyard about 3 times the size of every other house. So it was like, oh my goodness, we need to jump on that. So typically you're looking for features or amenities, and you normally need to jump on that as soon as you find it, as opposed to, sell your house first and then just wait patiently to see if a home with those amenities come up. That's normally not the process that people take. All right, so that's one, and that's the path that's least traveled, okay? The second 2 are more realistic, and each of these 2 clients, one's taking one path, one did the other. And so the second way to buy a house in retirement is get a home equity line of credit on your existing home. Use that for the down payment on the new house. Then get a mortgage for the rest of the purchase of the new house. So you buy that new house completely financed, and then sell your existing house and use the proceeds, obviously, to pay off the line of credit. Use the proceeds to put as much possible down on the new loan and re-amortize that loan. And then you're left with the residual financing. That's the most common path. And you're listening to that thinking, I don't want to do that because I'm in retirement and I'm either debt-free or I want to be debt-free, and everything about that has been using other people's money, using financing. Therefore, I'll be paying some interest. Therefore, there will be some closing costs. Therefore, I'll have to go through that scrutiny of the underwriting and that loan approval process. I just don't, it will lengthen it. I might even be looking to make an offer where I can say cash only or whatever, and that might get you better terms when you're making the purchase. So I don't like any of this. The problem is, this one is the most realistic. because it allows you to use your existing equity as well as leverage the financial strength that you currently have by all your retirement savings and all of that to get a loan in place to bridge the gap between buying this new house before you sell your existing one. In this process, you're going to want to get that home equity line of credit open early. Okay, one of these couples that I'm serving, they've been looking for a house with certain features for a long time, a couple of years. They just knew they were going to move at some point. And when I told them, hey, get a home equity line of credit in place, well, that's got a $300 fee every year to just keep it open or whatever. I don't really want to do that. Well, okay. But now it got to the point where they needed that home equity line of credit for their down payment, and they didn't have it available. And because of how banks are structured right now, they weren't able to just open one on the fly. Getting that home equity line of credit in place that might be cumbersome or whatever, might have a small fee to it, but it allows you to make that down payment on your new house, very easily using the equity of your current home. Then you get the mortgage for the rest of the purchase of your new home. When you then sell your existing house, you'll use those proceeds to pay down automatically because the home equity line of credit is on the existing house. That'll get paid off in the closing process of selling your home. And then those proceeds you'll want to use to pay down your existing, the mortgage on the new home. So you'll want to talk to your lender up front about, well, what's the process to reamortize? And will you charge me for that? Because otherwise it's just going to be, well, you've borrowed this much for your new home, and that causes a high monthly payment, and even when you put the proceeds of your home sale on it, you're still stuck with this high payment. Most people don't want to do that, and in retirement, that's not going to be appealing. Therefore, from your lender, what's the reamortization process? Some of them I've seen, if you sell your home or put a chunk down within 6 months, there's no cost to reamortize. Others, I've seen it the exact opposite. You can't reamortize for 6 months. So you've got to work with your lender to see. Most, if I could set your expectations, most will charge a small couple $100 fee to reamortize, and it's probably going to be worth it. But that's the second way to buy a house in retirement. And then the third way to buy a house in retirement, I think, is the way that most people think they should or think they want to, but it has the most side effects. And that is buying the house using your retirement investments. So paying all cash, using your retirement nest egg, and then when you sell your house, you then replenish those retirement dollars. To me, this seems easy or seems preferred because there's no debt. Therefore, there's no interest that you're paying to someone else. There's no closing cost on the mortgage, those loan origination fees, those sorts of things. You don't have to worry about any of that. You can tell tell the seller, we've got a cash offer here. Can we close sooner? Does that give me, a small discount off the purchase price? Blah blah blah. And you've got all that, those conveniences. Here's the challenge: most people don't just have, say, $500,000 sitting around in their investments that they could easily access. If you did, there may be some capital gains or some tax ramifications. If it was coming out of an IRA or pre-tax retirement account, that there would be ordinary income tax on that. And most people don't like the idea of having all of a sudden $500,000 of ordinary income land on your tax return and all the tax consequences that would be consequences of that. If you think, well, I'll just put the money back after I sell the house, well, you've got 60 days. That's a 60-day rollover. So from the time you take the money out of your account, from the time you put it back in, you've got 60 days. Not, will you sell your house within 60 days? Now, most people will look at that and say, yeah, in this market, I would expect to. No. You've got to get the money back into your account within 60 days of taking it out. Normally, you're going to have to take the money out of your IRA a week or so before you actually close on the house. And then you've got to wait and let your house that you're selling go through all the inspections to get those resources. 60 days, guys, is going to be hustling. I would say that's not the norm. Be aware that if you're using dollars from your investment portfolio, if they're non-IRA, there could be capital gain consequences. If they are IRA, there's likely going to be tax consequences if you can't fit within that 60-day rollover, and that would be a very stressful 60 days. And then the final drawback with this is If you're using some of that investment portfolio to supplement your retirement income, your Social Security, and you take a chunk of that out, you may not be able to get that same amount of retirement income, at least in that season before you sell your house and get the proceeds put back in. So the second client that I told you, this is the route that they took. The difference is we've been aware of it, and they had a large amount of proceeds in a non-IRA account because it was proceeds from a business sale. They knew that they'd be replenishing those dollars after they sold their house, but for years now, we've positioned those investments in low risk such that they could pull them out at any time for the down payment on a new house or to buy the new house. Those are the three paths, ways, approaches to buying a house in retirement. You could have a combination of two of those, pulling some out of investments and getting a loan instead of the line of credit, that sort of thing. Work with your certified financial planner, see which path makes the most sense for you. But guys, more important than that is just being proactive, thinking ahead. How soon, when might we buy the house? How much will it be? And therefore, having that proactive conversation with your CFP and looking at how it's going to impact all 6 areas of your financial life, that is just as important as picking, well, which path is most preferred and preferential to you. Work with your certified financial planner on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us here as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go on and take your next wise step in your financial life.